Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 30th of September. Starting off with a Vector and a bit of jiggery-pokery here either side of the 50-day moving average. That's the blue line there at £1.57. It looks as though we resolved the technical situation here in the sense that did appear earlier in the month that the shares would take off from 160 plus, but obviously we've had a couple of new lows since then. The real support line there at from April at £1.37, so above that looking for the big picture target here over the next month or two as high as £2.50. If you're cautious on the situation, maybe waiting for another dip if we get it down towards the upper 130s. Otherwise, really need to break that 20-day moving average at £1.66 to hopefully get some momentum going in the shares. On to a rather easier situation, Braveheart, which delivered its breakthrough through the 25 pence level a couple of weeks back. Since then, it started to accelerate, especially in the last couple of sessions. So an end-of-day close above the last September peak at 32 pence should be enough to now take the shares up towards 50 pence, retesting May resistance as soon as the end of next month. Ideally, there's no end-of-day close back below today's intraday low around the 29 pence level in the meantime. Galileo Resources been a bit fiddly in the recent past, but starting to resolve reasonably well at the moment. Bounced off, it was double bounce off the 200-day moving average at 0.61 pence and a nice gap higher today. Above the floor of the gap at 0.66, we're looking at a retest of the 1 to 1.1 pence area seen, which has been the post-May resistance for the shares. Gene Drive had quite a flurry over the last 24 hours, bouncing off the support line from July at 91 pence yesterday and closing back above the 50-day moving average as well at 97. While we're above the 50-day line, looking for a retest of the 150 area, which was resistance earlier in the month. If you're cautious, maybe wait for an end-of-day close above the 20-day moving average at £1.12 before assuming that 150 or so could be hit over the near term for the shares. Easier situation perhaps coming in the form of Itaconics, just breaking that line of resistance from earlier this month at 1.7 pence, which is the area the 20-day moving average. Support here above the 50-day moving average at 1.6 pence. So if you are a fan of the stock, while we're above the 50-day line, looking for a top of December price channel target as high as 3.4 or 3.5 pence over the next 1 to 2 months for the share. So reasonable risk reward on that situation. On to a stock which I know has its fans, but it's been sort of waiting, delaying rather in terms of the upside here. As you can see, a very congested chart over the recent months, but looks like we might finally have BlueJay Mining ready to take off. The floor of the channel at 7.5 pence, which is where the 50-day moving average is, and above that, looking for a 2 to 3 month target, perhaps as high as 12 pence over the near term. Ideally, we have a decent weekly close above the initial September peak at 8.86 pence to get the situation going. But as we have broken that September resistance line on a 2-day basis, the shares should be on their way to the 12 pence target. Requested stock is next, and that comes in the form of Petromata. Very intriguing candle there from a couple of days ago, Monday, with that wide-ranging day. And very interesting now that we've got support just coming in at the 200-day moving average as well. That's at 2.87, so shares resting on that. Easiest thing here, I suppose, is to wait for an end-of-day close through 3 pence, the Monday's intraday resistance, and also the resistance of the last couple of months. But those who are fans of the shares might want to try and jump the gun and look for a retest of the main 4.5 pence resistance that we had a few months back in June. Stop loss at the moment, probably back below the 50-day line at 2.64. Next stock, another rather big mover, which is Aurora Mining, if it comes through. Here we had, I suppose, the big breakthrough was back in July, around the 4 pence level. A lot of dithering over the July and August period around that level, and Obviously, we had the initial spike for this month and then the pullback to the 50-day line. But at least while we're above the initial spike level at 8.5 pence, we could hit the long-awaited target there, the top of that rising August 2019 trend channel at 15.5 pence over the next few weeks. But that's certainly valid really well. We hold above that 8.5 pence peak. Oriole is next, and here Aurora Resources. Nice gap here up through the rising 50-day and 20-day moving averages and above the 200-day line at 0.36. But at least while we're above the 200-day line, looking for hopefully significant further upside. Line of support there from, if I can get the thing moving there, line of support there from March at the 200-day line. And best case scenario target here would be a move to that March resistance line projection as high as a penny over the next couple of months. So let's see how that goes. If you're cautious on the shares, maybe wait for an end of day close above the existing September peak at 0.45 pence. Just a couple of stocks to go now in this rather marathon session. Balorics is next, and just interesting to see how the shares, after pulling the rug rather painfully last week, bounced roughly, I suppose, off the 30-day moving average and that August uptrend line at 25 pence. While we're above that, looking for perhaps a move towards the low 40s, something like that. But if you're cautious, maybe wait for an end of day close through 35 pence before hoping that the shares will relive or repeat the magic that they had over the last week or two. More straightforward situation to finish off in the form of U Group. Here we've got the stock gapping higher through the 200-day moving average at 86 pence, and also breaking that line of resistance from June at 90 pence. At least while we're above 90 pence, we're looking forward hopefully to a move to the retest the June resistance through £1.30 and perhaps even up to the 2020 resistance through £1.40. But only back below the 200-day line now, really killing the idea of a push to the upside for U Group. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.